We have a very, very special honor and privilege to welcome Jenny Yeung. Jenny is from China, but she's not from China. She's actually from the whole world. She's been everywhere. She's done everything. But one of the key things that she works on is, and has a passion for, is education and learning, and ongoing sustainable learning and development. So I thought that while she's in the country, it would be a great privilege to have you on board. So Jenny, thank you very much. Thank you. Jenny, you work with the United Nations, Sustainable Development Goals. You think in a billion kids at a time. What are the key drivers that you see at this moment in time in terms of learning challenges, especially for the developing world? What sort of things do we need to do to get that developing world in a much, much more progressive way to address the future?
I'm actually trying to work very hard on replicable models of schools, replicable models of educational tools, because I think what we are really short of is the two extreme of talent in education. If we talk about the average education, I think the usual system is there, the government is taking care of it, the infrastructure, I think is generally there. But what that pushed the world is some extremes like gifted kids, or some extreme of people that are so determined for a certain mission, such as I must go for a Nobel Prize. So it is these people that push the world that change. If you remember, Bill Gates dropped out of Harvard, and we have internet today. So the similar thing everywhere. So there has to be some kind of incubator that encourage people that really want to dream and dream big, so that the world is moving for a positive change.
Let's move forward in terms of the kind of education we're doing. I mean, I love this because it's the sort of thing we encounter all the time. Everybody knows left and right side of the brain. Robots are going to take that side. This is the humanities side. How are we managing that?
I believe the parents and teachers nowadays are so important in terms of how they observe the children when they grow. And similarly, when you're at work, if you work for a good company, your supervisor will actually be very good mentors that know how to identify who would be the people that I want to develop down the road. So I think it's very much not only the children or a system, it's the quality of teachers or supervisors we have in the whole educational system.
How do we select people for jobs that we're going to expect in the future for skills we don't know yet?
I believe virtual reality is going to help substantially, because seeing is believing. Doesn't matter how smart or dumb a kid is or an employee is. You listen to whatever somebody said and you make your own judgment. Nothing makes better when you completely nowadays have a whole virtual reality goggle in front of you, that the best essence of everything is in there for you to feel and explore. And once you're into it, you believe in what is being shown. And I think the teachers nowadays is going to guide us through the process, rather than expecting every single teacher really have been out there to mass knowing how to teach a science class. But the kids will be able to see mass on screen and understand 90%, 100% of what the content could be. So the teachers are really there to guide you when you grow, rather than becoming, in the past, a teacher and a textbook.
You do a lot of work in technology and forward-looking technology. Can you share that immersive experience for a future child, or a current child almost? And what will the kids in this room, people who have kids here, what can they experience in the next 2-3 years, particularly working with you?
I believe allowing children to be close to technology. A lot of people would believe, I don't want him, he's playing all the time, he's looking at the magazine, he's playing with guns. When my kid grew up, I didn't mind him liking guns. I bring him to an old magazine store and buy as many guns as you want in those magazines, because I know he's going to pick up a lot of vocabulary, a lot of basic English language just from those old magazines. It doesn't have to be a current issue. So after a little while, he get bored, but he will move on to something else. So I think that's where we have to allow children to be in the area of what they like. They have a passion for it. You don't even need to encourage them. They would just read and work on it constantly, and you see their interest. So exposing them to a variety of things that could possibly interest them, I think is our first job.
Our education system currently is from 4 to 24. They pack everything in there. Now we have long lifespans. We will live to 100 to 120 years. So after 24, you've got another 80 to 100 years of work and life. Shouldn't we just change this thing, and our learning should be from 4 to 84 and take a degree every 10 years or something like that? And I had a bunch of really, really cool degrees earlier on. Isn't it time that we re-look at this whole thing?
I think disruptive innovation is the term. I learned to see that it's possible for what you talk about from 4 to 84, because it takes a more intelligent parent to be able to guide the first couple of years for what school they put to. It also costs a lot of more money to be able to expose them everywhere you want them to go to, everything that you want them to try. So education, unfortunately, is still very different kind of class, different kind of specialty, different kind of races. I think these contain the context of what children will be exposed. We are trying to move everyone on the same level learning field so that they all will become a global citizens. But it's very hard to expect every parent to think the same way. Every parent come from a different background. So therefore, I believe there is still a very strong demand of quality, central, free education that is so entertaining and so interesting that we don't find the kids only playing video games, but they just really like certain programs that they learn without realizing that they're learning.
Exactly.
So rather than we think they're addicted to certain, we want them to be addicted to something they're learning very well.
I have an unfair advantage because I know something about Jenny's life in terms of her learning and development. So with your permission, at one stage in her life she had a bit of a gap in her between her careers, and she had and in that gap she went to Harvard, she did a second degree, she did a third one, she's got 5, and she's overloaded. And I'm thinking to myself, what a wonderful experience. So shouldn't we be encouraging people at some stage in their lives to sort of really go out there and on a learning spree and just take a 2-year sabbatical, 3-year sabbatical, and just learn. This is some of the sort of things that we're going to be having in the future, and this is one of our last slides on this. But leaving this as a backdrop, we'll have science, we'll have technology, we'll have humanity. All of these things are going to come together as a centaur. Yeah, absolutely. So, as a final comment, Jenny, I know you work with the UN and Sustainable Development Goals, and one of your dreams is to reach billions of people. Would you like to share some of that with us so that we can inspire a whole group of people that are here?
Yes, I actually started with being a Red Cross since I was 13, and because I live in Hong Kong, so I get to learn many more languages out of my own interest. And because I have traveled a lot, live in many countries, somehow I feel that my career destination is UN, because it's broad enough. Although lately I work closely with European Union, I work with Arab League, but I think the quality of UN is what I still believe in. Being a super large NGO, I wouldn't use the term NGO. UN is a non-profit organization. It is a very, very big organization. So I only started off being a very small foundation, being a very small NGO that I realized I learn faster than I can act. So after I attend many, many meetings and what I could observe to be the pros and cons of what is inside UN and many systems, I decided to go back to my very first job, which was banking, because I figure money seems to be still the king to solve a lot of problems. So if I have to help UN, I don't want to go around and ask people to please donate a little here and there. And if I hear that UN is a nonprofit, that we are short of money to make everything happen to be for more people, so I decided to change my mind that I should work for people that fund UN rather than just UN, so that we get them with big checks, because I know people in UN are really, really good-hearted, and everybody's trying very hard. So I think money talks. So I decided to change my work so that I start working on family offices, I start working on financing for sustainable development goals, so that using money, we buy the best talent and we develop the best talent.
Sure.
And that's my new career ambition.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Great. Jenny, thank you very much indeed. Bernard, very
Thank
grateful
you.
for your thoughts, and big hand for two amazing people.
Thank you.